Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome and thanks for joining us for this webinar on what's new in the latest version of Business Central. My name is Aileen Primrose and I'm Head of Dynamic Sales here at KIK, as well as one of your account managers. For this session today, I'm joined by my colleague Lee Ping, who's also one of your account managers, and Lee is going to be walking you through some of the great new features that have been added to the cloud version of the system, which is also known as Business Central SaaS. The session is scheduled to last for 1 hour, as we've quite a lot to cover, but we've also left 5 minutes at the end for any questions. So please do post any questions you have in the question box and we can cover these at the end. Also, just to let you know, we will be sharing the slides and the recordings with you, so no need to worry about taking notes and everything that Lee will be showing in this session. So just before I hand over to Lee, just a reminder here that the cloud version of Business Central is always up to date. And this is because there are minor updates monthly, as well as 2 major updates each year, which are normally around April and October. So this means Business Central with the cloud version, you always stay compliant because new legislation requirements are added automatically into the system. So an example of this is Lee will be demonstrating new functionality in this session, which has now been added for new regulations around things like sustainability reporting. Another great benefit you gain with having Business Central cloud version is you get the latest technology. Microsoft have now added Copilot to Business Central to provide assistance with completing tasks faster. So again, Lee is going to show you things like Copilot in this session. And just again, before I hand over, the kind of rollout process, in case some of you are not aware of this, you should be notified by Microsoft that an update is coming to Business Central. You can then KIK review or no, and we can review any amendments required to customizations for the new version. There can be an update to the sandbox scheduled, and KIK can then advise that you to test the update, and then you can then advise KIK of any issues that you perhaps find on the sandbox pre going to live. And once they're resolved, we can then live update the system and we can schedule that update for you. The update must be applied in the allotted time frame given by Microsoft, or the update will be applied automatically. However, there's a 60-day window, that's the current time frame, where you get that you can choose to perform the actual live update. So again, please reach out to us if you want any more information on that. And really now I'm just looking to hand over to Lee, and Lee is going to take you through or walk you through some of the new features and provide a demonstration of that. Okay, Lee, I'll hand over to you if that's okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, thanks Aileen.
Presenter just now, just give me a second. It should be us just changing. You can let me know when you have it, Lee.
Yeah, 1 second. Yeah,
all good for me seeing it. Yep.
See that? Okay.
Yep.
So let me just hello everyone. So yeah, we've got probably about 40-45 minutes just to run through some of the key new features. It's going to be very high level. Some of the topics, especially the sustainability, is quite in depth. You guys will have to go away and understand sustainability and how that's going to impact you in the coming years. But there's some nice areas as well we'll look at in terms of the Copilot stuff, which is a bit easier to have a sort of try with. Now everything I'm going through here, you get access to these slides. You've got Wave Release 2024 Wave 1. So basically there's a link there. As I said, you can get the slides, which will take you to a list of, if you've not already seen it, all the new features available. And there's also a YouTube list. We've got a playlist there, which is going to give you access to 38 videos. And all the stuff I'm talking about today, there's a separate video on each of them. They're usually about 20 to 30 minutes long. So you want to sit and, after the event, have a look at the YouTube playlist and actually watch Microsoft presenting these new features. The first thing we're going to look at is sustainability. So sustainability under UK is called SDR. Now, the UK SDR is basically a proposed set of rules that's going to govern sustainability disclosure requirements for the financial market participants in the UK. Now, at the moment, the UK regulations aren't fully complete. So, basically, this is the sort of timeline, and we won't know full set of sort of details until quarter 2 2025. But at the moment, for global businesses who are UK based, who have assets of over 50 billion, they've already been compliant in this. And in 2024, we've got customers, sort of asset managers, etc., pension funds, etc., who will be over 5 billion under asset management, which are going to be impacted. So eventually, this is going to trickle down through the years, and we probably reckoned, an estimate is going to be 2027 when most customers might be impacted. Now, running alongside the UK one is the EU. Now, the EU, they call it CSRD. So basically, if you look at the time frame, the EU, they're well ahead in terms of their regulations and what they're going to do. But if you look at 2027 here, basically, if you've got more than 10 employees and more than £700,000 turnover and more than €350,000 in your balance sheet, if you're the EU business, you're going to be impacted, and you have to report your sustainability. I'm going to go through the module and what that means. So we reckon that just now, obviously from 2024, in terms of UK, we don't know really what's happening until 2025, but it's important to start understanding, start looking at what's coming, because it's all about data, understanding the data, where you get data from, understand the calculations. There's lots of different websites out there. I got some of this information from the government website, which is going to explain all this. If you don't know anything about this at all, it's well worth starting to get your head together and start really looking to plan things and what you're going to do. So, and this was just, again, let me just take this control panel, sorry. This was just really telling you, it expects that after quarter 2 2025, it might then impact the listed and non-listed companies from January 2026. It's probably going to be depending on the size of the business. Okay, so what I want to do is I just want to go into Business Central just now. Okay, and so this is my updated version of Business Central. And what I'm going to do is search for sustainability. So what I've got is I get access to different options now for sustainability. Now, just be aware, this is Microsoft First Pass at Sustainability. Because most customers aren't impacted by it yet, this is them just starting out the journey. This will change, this will improve as they get more information on the requirements. The UK SDR against the EU might be slightly different, so there'll be different localization versions and what they need to do. So this is growing and changing, evolving as more information is returned by the governments. So I think the first thing in sustainability is just looking at the sustainability account categories. So now this is an example list of account categories. So for instance, if you think about it, what emissions are going to, what things are emitting CO2, methane, this is nitric oxide. You've got company cars, you've got hotel stays, people go away, rental car usage, you've got waste, electricity, steam, and you've got all these different codes. Now these are just a sample set. So you effectively at some point will have to have a coding structure. So if I look at company cars, for instance, and then click in subcategories, what's happening here is the subcategories of company car, depending on this example, large, medium, or premium, will determine certain emission factors. In this one, we're looking at CO2. So we've got large, small, medium. If I look at hotel night stays, for instance, subcategories, We've got, if you're staying in a 3, 4 or 5 day start, 5-star hotel, they all have different calculation factors. And let's look at electricity, just one more. So if you're using coal, you see here, there's again, coal versus, just make that a bit bigger. Coal supplier, solar wind supplier or nuclear, you see there, solar wind has 0. So the idea is that you will build up a chart of sustainability accounts. If I just search for that just now. So this is my sample set of accounts, and I've got some headings here from gas emissions, scope 1, mobile combustion, there's all my different vehicles, total combustion, different emissions from refrigerators, air conditioning. There's just so much data to potentially look at and get information from. Now the scopes in terms of scope 1, scope 2, scope 3, again, you'll have to learn about it, but scope 1 is basically your direct company facilities and sort of vehicles, and then it moves on to scope 2, which is more indirect, sort of purchased electricity and the likes, and then moves on to scope 3 for transport and distribution, etc. So once you've got all this set up, what you're going to be doing, if you're going to use Business Central for this, now this is just an offering by Microsoft for sustainability. You may well choose to use different third-party tools, speak to different, obviously, third-party consultants and build up your sustainability reporting in a different way. But this is an option that Microsoft has given you just now. So if I go for sustainability journals, and again, I've put through a couple of lines. What you're basically doing here is same as any other journal. The screen looks the same in terms of you're posting to the general ledger, but what you're doing here is you're posting to sustainability chart of accounts. So whenever you've got information on the company cars you're using, how many miles, there's I've got economy class and business class. You're putting in distances, or if it's fuel, electricity, whatever it is. And as you put it in, because of the account subcategories, it knows the calculations. It's starting to work out what the emission in CO2, methane, and that one nitrous oxide. So let's see if this one posts. Yeah, so that's posted. So that's then just updated my chart of accounts. So if I just go back, let's see. I should have some figures being posted there. And then from here, obviously, you can then go through and you can drill down to see where that information came from. Now, going forward, as this evolves, I would expect that you don't want to, if possible, you're going to be, hopefully some of these suppliers will give you API connections, and you may be getting information pulled in directly if you're using this. As I said, there's other Microsoft tools out there for sort of clouds usage and all that type of thing, which you can harness as well. But this is, as I said, this is a nice easy one within Business Central, and it will evolve. In terms of reporting, just now, as I said, because there's only 3 reports on offer, but again, these will change as we go nearer to the requirement deadlines. So if I look at this one, total emissions, and let's just download that. So I'll just put it into my downloads folder. It's there. I said, so there's three categories of reports just now. Let's just give you an idea of what's in here now. I just have to enable editing, and I've got some other options which I just need to enable just now. So effectively that should then pull in some of the data which I've just posted. Hopefully. Thinking about it. Yeah. So just now, based on some of the journals I've posted, my sum of emissions for my carbon is 12,272. I've got my methane at 14, and it also splits out, gives you some sort of charts, and you can get information through period. So there's my company car postings, my business class air postings, and there's different filters to go through and toggle the data. So that's the first offering you're getting for sustainability. It's quite simple just now, but as I said, it's all about you understanding what you need to set up, which is as I said, there's I don't know, you've got your in-house champions just now are looking at this and building this up, or you're going to go to external consultants to get assistance with it when ready. But you do have a small tool within Business Central just now. Now I'm not going to save that, I'm just going to jump back to Business Central. Now, when you go into your system and you search for sustainability, you might find there's nothing there. So what I had to do is, now I did this on my Cronus, and I would do it in your Sandbox first. So open up your Sandbox environment, go into Cronus, and if you search for Contoso, what you've got is you've got this Contoso demo tool. And if you go down towards the bottom, just second from bottom, you've got sustainability module. If you generate the data, now I've already did this, what it's going to do, it's going to populate and give you all this information, and give you, then you can also have a play about with the data. If you wanted to, I guess you could even bring in this as a template starting point, and you would have, don't post any journals, it offers you, but then you would have something to start with, and obviously you could change numbers and headings, but it gives you a starting point as a template. You can change things. Okay, so that was just a bit about sustainability, which I hope, as I said, it may be a couple of years away, 2-3 years potentially for most customers on this call, but it's coming, and a big topic. Now, when I also spoke about the EU, ESRD, just be aware, if you've got any subsidiaries in Europe, as well as the UK, you'll be mandated for both. So you will have to deal with both the EU and the UK regulations. Okay, so great. I'll move on now to our next topic, and I think we're going to look at, maybe we'll move to Copilot. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my search, and I'm going to look for customer ledger entries. So, list of customer ledger entries. Let me just turn off this fact box. Now, what you've got different options at the top here. You've got this start a Copilot prompt action, and you've got an analysis mode. Now, this analysis mode, if you've not already used it, came out a couple of versions ago. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on it. And what analysis mode is, it allows you to, and you'll find this in most screens within Business Central, when you see lists, you're allowed to basically take the data, put it into an analysis list, and then pivot it. So, for instance, what I might want to do is create a pivot here. So this is my list of customer ledger entries. I'm going to pivot, and I want to split this up by year, by month, and I'll put in by customer name. So what that's done is just taken the data, split it by year, by month, by customer, as I've requested there. So this data I can obviously use it to analyse. I can right click, I can export it to Excel, I can use the data as required. Now you'll see there I've got different sums. What I'm looking for is just the remaining. So I don't want I'm just going to start removing some of these. Effectively, I want some remaining. I'll just leave that one. that effective is 2024, my list of debtors by year, by month. So that was quite a few clicks there. That was me using pivot tables. I like using pivot tables. What would happen if I just remove that? If I create a new tab, but I try the same thing, but this time I'm going to ask Copilot to do it. So what we've got is create new analysis. So this is now Copilot. I'll click on it. And what Copilot's going to ask is, what do you want to do? Now, there's different. You click on this wee icon here. There's prompt guides for you to try and help you. So I might want to group by something, show average cost, pivot on a dimension, sort, smallest to largest, adjust the layouts, freeze columns, remove fields, rename fields, that type of thing. I'm just going to create the same report as I did a second ago, but I'll just let Copilot do it. So I want to group by year, by month, and show by customer, and show remaining amount. So that's nice and simple. Group by year, by month, show remaining amount. Click and generate. Let's see what it does. So what it's just did there, I just checked my previous one, sorry, analysis one, it was 48561. So when I did all those steps, I was just the same thing, but it was a lot easier. Because what Copilot did, it did exactly what I wanted. It's grouped by year, by month, and it's just put in the amount remaining. And I could have went further there. I could have said, well, then sort by total, highest to bottom, that type of thing. So Copilot within the analysis is really quite powerful. Don't have to use it. You can still use your pivots, but it's a nice way for those who don't like pivot tables to just use standard queries, type it in to create a new analysis, and let Copilot try and work it out for you. Now, as you know, these analysis tabs, whenever you come out of analysis and then go back in, it saves all this for you. So you can always come back to these views. But if you don't want them, obviously you can delete, or you can share them, arrange left to right, all that type of thing. You can move them back and forward. What I'm going to do is go back to my analysis so I get the full analysis list. I'm not going to pivot, but I'm going to click on, let's just try it again. And just simple as show me, in fact, who owes me money. Let's try that. So again, it's going through my list of customer journal entries, and hopefully it should just work out. Yeah, okay, it wants to show me. Yeah, there we go. Who owes me money? That's the list of all my debtors. Yep, so it's pretty good. I like that in analysis mode. If you've not tried it, give it a go. It's pretty good. Okay, I'm going to move on to the next section of Copilot, which is what I wanted to do was a bit of bank rec. So I'm just going to change my screen to, in fact, 1 second, to this version. So bank rec with AI Copilot came out, I think it was 1 or 2 versions ago. I don't know if everyone's aware how it works, so I'm just going to run through this quickly. So I'm just going to search for bank rec. So I've already set up a pre-designed list of entries I can reconcile. So typically what you would do is, I've got entries on this side which I've imported in. There's my bank account ledger entries. I want to match, I want the system to try and match them. So what it's done here, it's matched 19 out of 21. So what it's done here is it's not been able to match this one of these three entries. Now, the reason for this, and I've set this example intentionally, this is one sum, and this is split into three sums. So standard Business Central wouldn't know what to do with it. You'd have to just manually fix that and just match them manually. You could have quite a few like that, and it can be quite confusing. What if I try to reconcile with Copilot? So that option there. So it then starts again, does all the matching, and what you'll notice is what the auto match can't match, Copilot matched that. And what it's now showing me here is it thinks that 231,000 on this side should be applied to these three multiple entries, and that's actually correct. So Copilot is going to be looking at what's on the left, what's on the right, and trying to match based not just on description and date, but trying to work out the values, and it's smart enough to know that, yeah, that should match. So I'm just going to keep that. So that's that now fully matching. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to do another bank import. So I've got a couple of files which I've set up. So this is, let's pretend this is my bank import, and let's say I've got these two items which I've just imported in. So these come into the bank, that's some fuel and electricity, and I'm noticing this side, well, there's no entries for it. So I've got it in the bank, but Business Central doesn't know about it. What you would normally do is you would have to take this option here to transfer to a general journal, and it'll take the information and you create the journal, and then it will put it over there so you can match it. What you can do is use this option, transfer to GL, so you can see that it's got the Copilot. So I'm going to select both lines, transfer to GL account, and what it's going to do now, it's going to look at these descriptions. It's going to try and work out what GLs it should post to. And what it's done here, it's saying, okay, yeah, well, car fuel, that £100, you should be posting it to vehicle fuel. That's right. And this one, electricity, should be posting to the electricity account, so it's got it right. So Copilot's trying to learn. If it's wrong, you can change it and save it, and then for next time, it'll try and match that correctly based on what you've saved just now. Okay, so I'm just going to keep it. And when I've done that, it's automatically posted, and they are now matched. Okay. So that was really just a bit about what these options are within bank account reconciliation. Reconcile with Copilot, we'll try and do more of a detailed match, and transfer to general ledger account, we'll try and, rather than do that manually, it'll try and find descriptions and offer you the account it should be posting to. Okay, next area of Copilot is there's a new feature in its suggest sales lines. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to sales invoices. Let me just turn this side off. I'm going to go to this invoice, which has not been posted. I've started creating this one for this Murray Cloud. So let's just delete everything which is in here just now. And I'll just delete that secondly. Okay, so what we've got within Copilot, within sales orders, sales quotes, sales invoices, is suggest sales lines. Now, obviously, there's a couple of new features in here. This one's Copilot, and this one is a new feature for select multiple items at a time. So what we'll do, we'll use both. Let's suggest sales lines. So it's using the Copilot icon there. We know it's Copilot. And again, what it's doing here, it's saying, okay, what do you want to do? Look at the prompt guide. So you can copy order numbers from previous order, from previous invoice, from the last invoice, copy all the items. You can add items based on description. You can add items based on external document numbers. So what we'll do is, let's say, copy from, I don't know, an invoice number. Let's say copy from last invoice and click on generate. So what it's going to do, it's going to look at the last invoice, last posted invoice for eCloud. So what it did here, it said, okay, that's your customer eCloud. That's the last posted invoice. Do you want to have a look at it just to make sure this is correct? Yeah, that all seems fine. And so if I want it, I can click on insert. And it's just obviously then inserted those lines. Try that again, suggest sales lines, add 20 blue chairs. So what it's going to do here, if I can find them, it's going to search my items list. It's going to look for chairs. It's going to look for any attributes. Do we have blue chairs, red chairs? And if it finds them, it's going to add them in. And what we've got is it's found, yeah, we've got some oneness of blue chairs, 20 of them. Now in the matching, when you're trying to do the searching, you've got a precise search, a more balanced, or a sort of more easy sort of search. You might get more hits. So mine is based on balance, and you can also view the lines and how confident CoPilot thinks it is actually when it's found these. But I'm going to click insert, so that's fine. So suggest sales lines, as I said, look at the prompt guide, whether you want to copy from previous order numbers, from previous invoice numbers, from last invoice numbers, or just ask it to add items based on descriptions, if you've got more than an item, 10 in stock, add item, that type of thing. It'll try and suggest and add them in for you. This is just now, I think it's a wee bit not as fast as I would like in terms of the finding, but as I said, as we go through and this evolves, this could be quite a powerful tool as it gets more clever. While we're in here, there's this other new feature called Select Items. So before this button, if you wanted to go to and add more than one line, you go through each line itself. You can now select items. And holding down your control key, customer wants 4 of that, what's the Athens desk, what's the mobile, what's this, what's the Amsterdam lamp, scroll down, and what's this green chair. Click OK, and add them all in. And then from there, you can also just add in your quantities and change any dimensions, that type of thing. So again, just a nicer way to try and get items into your sales quotes. So this all works in sales quotes, sales orders, and sales invoices. One more thing on suggest lines. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open up Notepad. Now, let's pretend I've got an email from a customer. Let's say, I'm just going to take this out and I'm just going to copy and paste it. So let's say, thanks very much for your recent delivery. So let's say of chairs. Let's say this customer just bought chairs off me, and this is their email. Can you now quote me for 20 desktop lamps and 10 I don't know if I've got any red chairs, but let's say blue chairs, and we've got them. Thanks, Jim. So let's say that's an email that's sitting in your inbox. Now what you can do, just copy that. Let's suggest sales lines. Ask it to generate. So what it should be clever enough to do is it should be clever enough to look at the context and understand that you're not looking for all these items. We know you got information, the previous delivery of whatever it was, but you're just interested in or if it can find it's found the bow chairs. Click insert, and then it goes. So you can also take information, copy and paste from emails if customers send you things to order stuff, drop them into suggest, and it will try and find them for you as well. Okay, so I'm just going to exit. So that's a bit of Copilot suggest sales lines. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, let me just click on here. So I'm going to show you Copilot chat with Copilot. Now this is only available in the US just now. It's not out in the UK, but it's being released quite soon. So I've created a sandbox which has this functionality in it, and I'm just so you can see what you're going to get access to. So this version has this option right up here called Copilot, whereas my previous version, it doesn't exist. So when it does exist, you'll see when it's available, you'll see this small icon here. So what this does when you click on it, it opens up this Copilot preview screen. And again, it's giving you different prompts where you can ask it to find things, look up purchase invoices, go to a certain page, asking questions about stock. Can you explain a certain process? Can you help me do a certain task? So for instance, I might be saying, well, I'll use that one, show the latest invoice. Now while it's working in the background, I can be in, doing whatever else I need to do, because it'll keep that pane there. I can go into different areas of the system, and it's then still working away until it finds the data and shows me it. So because I'm in a sandbox US test system, I think this is slightly slower than it would normally be in a live. Let's see what it finds. Yep. So there it is there. So it's found this latest sales invoices. If it wants to, it'll take me to the page where they've been posted. If I click on it, it should take me to that invoice itself. And there it is there. Okay, so let's ask another question. Show me top debtors. So again, while it's running, let's go into another screen while I'm waiting for that. The GL Self, I'm going to show you something else in terms of help. So again, it's running through, find the relevant data. Almost done. And there, it's found the top debtors. It's pretty good. So off the top one is this School of Fine Art, £53,000 Domi. Click on it, and then also will take me to that page where I can then use it and drill down. So you can see here, you can, do I have any lamps? And let's say desktop lamps. And again, it will go away and it will search if I've got any and give you that answer. Now, what it's also good at is when you're going through fields in Business Central. So, for instance, you're looking at, well, I'm waiting for that. Let's say you're going down. So there you go. It can find any desktop launch at stock at the moment, but you can have a look at the item ledger entries. But if it found any, it would take me to the page and show me them. So, for instance, what I've got here is I'm looking at, a setup page, and maybe I don't quite understand. I love posting to. What does that mean? It still gives you the help and the explanation, but you can also just ask Copilot, and it will go away and it will tell you what the field does. So again, that's quite useful, especially for users who are new to the system, and then now it's giving the explanation of what it's for. You've got that all through the system where you've got users. If you're not sure what the field does, Copilot chat will allow you to just ask what that field's for. As I said, you're allowed to find debtors, find items, work away while it's looking for those and change screens, give you explanations and give you guides on the system. This will evolve again. It probably get far better in terms of what you can and can't do. But I'm looking forward to this being improved as we get nearer the next wave. We'll see more changes to this type of thing. Okay, so that was my Copilot introduction of some of the new changes. What I'd like to finish with is some other changes in the system. Now, as I said, you'll see the links for the videos. Have a look at the videos and the releases for Wave 1. There's a lot of different bits that you might be interested in. We can't go through them all just now. But what I want to just touch on is accounts receivable. So there's a new role for accounts receivable administrator. So if you get anyone who has that role and that's what they do, you can give them that role now. And what we'll see is a more defined page for that job role. So looking at customers, orders, invoices. They're looking at, accounts receivable, overdue, outstanding, activities. And what this bit is, this is a new bit of automation which you can use if you use reminders. What you basically do, again, this is in one of the videos. You can see how this is set up. I've created 3 automations for my reminders. I want the system to create them, issue them, and send them. Now, I can't send mine just now because I'm not set up for email, so I'm going to just run these 2. So now you could click on these manually, or they could be part of a job queue, and they run every Monday morning, or every last day of the month, whatever it is. So I'm just going to run both of these. Now, what that's doing, if I just refresh, in the reminders which are due, the system's going to now pull them in. And there they are there. So it's went from draft reminders, which have been created but not issued. I took the option to issue, but I didn't send them, so that it knows I'm not sent, and it knows I'm not paid. So if I click in here, you can see they're still remaining. So what this is this is a way for your accounts receivable staff to send reminders, and that system is going to show you what reminders have been sent but not paid, if they've not sent any reminders, if there's been any failures in the automation. So it's just a nice, easy way to move through the system in terms of accounts receivable. So have a look at the video. It's quite good. What I'm going to now look at is jobs. So most of we obviously have been using system. If I search for jobs, this was also a change, I think, just over a month and a bit ago. Jobs are now projects. So everything that used to be called jobs is now called projects. That's fine, we know that. On a job, if you're using jobs, what you've now got is the options for, if I just show more, is you can bill, invoice and shipping actually. Rather than just by default it was one customer, that's what you could do. You can now bill to multiple customers. So if you set it to multiple customers, what effect you'll notice is that each line on the job, I have a bill to customer number which I can change. So on a job where you've got different entities and you're wanting to build different lines of a job to different entities, you can see I can change that there. And what will happen is the billable total here will change if you've got any sort of special prices and that type of thing set up for the customers. Now, this is all a manual thing, so whenever you change this, you have to make sure that you change and you manually put in the right information in terms of who you're billing. Once you've got that set up, when you bill from a sales invoice, You can still bill from the job, but what you can also do, again, I'm going to this one, this invoice which I've not posted. I've got the option within a sales invoice to get project planning lines. And what I can actually do now, I can now bill from the sales invoice back to the job. So if I just select just the bottom one here, it's now pulling that line in, and I can now create an invoice from here back to the job. Okay, so it's now a two-way option. With all this, I would recommend, again, in your sandbox, get into one of your test companies, set up a job, and just make sure you're happy with the process and what this does before you go away and implement it into your live system. Okay, and what I'm going to just finish off with is, let's see, there's a couple of things I want to show you. There is some additional Excel reports. So Microsoft are bringing in more Excel reports into the system. You can see here they've got 6 or 7 in preview mode. So let's just run one of them. Accounts receivable. I'll just download and run that. A second, that should open. Got my downloads there. Yeah, so I'm just looking at enable editing on this. Just select the label and the content. So that will just pull in the data, and it's just some new reports where it's going to allow you to, it's got inbuilt pivots. So there's my account receivable. Now I can obviously pivot by large, medium, small, whatever it is. I've got it by different periods. I've got it by currency as well, if I'm using multi-currency. And there's some data here which the system is using to create these tabs. So that's nice and simple. It's just extra reports that are available in the system. Okay, so I think that's pretty much all I wanted to show you on this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass you back to Aileen and see if we've got any questions.
Hi Lee, thanks for that. Yeah, there's just been a couple of questions that have come through, so we'll just cover them off. So there's been a question, are there any extra charges for Copilot or any of the new functions that we've seen today? So luckily and gladly, the answer to that is no. These are all included in the subscription fee that you pay for Business Central. So all the new functions and features, everything that Lee showed today is part of the new release, and you get that automatically with the subscription that you have. And another question that we have is how many new features have there been added to the system? I don't think that Microsoft actually published the specific number, although I did have a look at it myself a few weeks ago, and I think I counted about 89 new different functions that were just in this latest release, which is Business Central 2024 release wave 1. So a huge amount of new functions and functionality added to the system. So it's well worth taking time to understand and to know all of the new functions that are getting released in every single one of the versions, because there's a whole rake of functions that were released there. I think Lee's showing there the 2023 release 2. So again, lots of functions in there. So it's worth keeping abreast of the situation in terms of the new functions that have been added. And Lee, I think you're showing there where people can find the link. We've got them on the slides as well.
So you've got the URL on the slides, but if you just Google Business Central Release 2024 Wave 1, what you'll eventually get is this page. So now there's a lot of things in here, which things you might not be interested in, but the sort of main ones I would say just now, just running down the list, if you use Power Automate and you're good at Power Automate, then Power Automate has some Copilot in it. You can have a go at that to create some Copilot automation. I was talking archive projects. Now, what I didn't show you there, within jobs, you can do archives. So when you've got a job, you can archive it, which takes a snapshot of that job at any point in time. If you need to, you can restore the job or go back and look at the different jobs at those points in time. It's quite a straightforward, but again, you need to have a wee read and a wee at what there's some limitations in terms of what, when you restore back, what it's going to restore. Again, just running through the list, unless there's things about service management, which I guess most customers maybe not use. The new changes in Shopify. So Shopify is now available for business to business. Previously, it was only C2B. You can now use it for B2B if you buy the correct Shopify plan. We've had a customer look at that. It's quite good. We've got let's see, more accuracy now in sort of evaluations. There was the automated reminders process I was talking about. You now assign salesperson to ship to customers' addresses if that's useful to you. Invoice customers to multiple projects, which was sort of showing you there. There's 35 new Excel report layouts which are due to be released. There's a whole raft of different things in here, and there's a lot of the Copilot stuff, which some of the stuff I've been going through today. But a lot of this is in the link for the videos. So, Aileen, have you got that link? You can just share.
Yeah, they're on this. It's on the slides. Yeah, so we can share that. There's a few other questions come through as well. We'll maybe just cover them off. One about sustainability. Can the transactions journals dovetail with existing BC financial transactions in order to avoid duplicating transaction entries? So, for example, mileage, travel, hotel postings from continuing expenses.
At the moment, no.
Okay.
But that's something which I guess is going to evolve. So yeah, they're quite separate just now. But it might be something where, as you said, you want to put in 20 mileage, and then it will start updating that mileage into sustainability journals as well. So as you said, dovetails. So that might be something which Microsoft released.
Okay. And then somebody's asked, what was the command to view suggested headings for sustainability in Coronis?
Sorry, say that again.
What was the command to view suggested headings for sustainability in Coronis? I think maybe is that related to there's a suggested chart of accounts potentially that was in the Coronis company? Would that be that?
So what you're doing is you're going into, as I said, I'll do this in your sandbox just now, into your search icon and search for Contoso. And what it will give you, once it gives you a hit, it'll give you a hit for Contoso demo tool. Once you get a list of demo options, there's one called sustainability, and then you highlight that line, you click on configure, and it will offer to generate the basic chart of accounts and some of the sample data for you.
Good. And I guess also, Lee, we can, I mean, again, I would always recommend that with so many new functions, then we can certainly help by providing some training and assistance with that as well.
Yeah, some of the features are quite in depth. So you may, especially around jobs and how it's impacting jobs, and so you need to be, I guess, quite careful that you know exactly how it's going to impact you. So you might want to be calling a consultant if required.
That's right. So there's obviously videos there that on these links that Lee's got on the slide there, but certainly by all means we can help provide training and any assistance that you need with any of the new functions. So a couple more questions then. Is Copilot replacing the Power BI?
No, Copilot is its own product. Power BI is obviously a KPI reporting tool. Copilot is obviously embedded AI. Copilot will be embedded into is actually already in certain versions of Power BI as well. So with Copilot, you can actually ask Copilot to create Power BI reports as well. So they're all linked, but they're separate products.
Thanks, Lee. And just one more.
Yeah.
Sorry. No, and you go. You want to?
So I was just going to show this was me on this YouTube page, and see all the stuff I was talking about, bank reconciliations, chat with Copilot. All the videos. Oh, excuse me, I didn't want to do that. All the videos are here. They're all listed, and you can go through and watch them if you've got time.
Okay, and last question, Lee. Lee ran a report showing customers who owed us money. Is it possible to run this by a particular credit controller if you had more than one?
I've not tried that. So So if you're, depending on if you define something in the setup to who that credit controller is. Yeah, but I've not tried it. What you might find is some of the things don't quite work yet. I was trying a few things. I was getting message Copilot is still learning. Try back again, and go on next wave, that type of thing. So you might find that things don't work just now, but it's evolving.
Yeah. And that's maybe something that we can maybe try that, and then we can go back on that question just to see if it's something that we can see if it's there just now. So yeah, happy to do that. Okay, well, I think that's us pretty much on time. So we hope everyone found the webinar informative and valuable. Certainly can see that I think that there's some of these things that can save people quite a bit of time. So again, definitely urge to have a look at some of the new functions. And as I say, just to mention again, as I mentioned at the beginning of the session, we will email these slides to you and the recording. But please do also reach out to your account manager if you'd like to discuss any of the things further, or to arrange some training and all of these great new functions which can save a lot of time. So thanks, Lee, and also thanks to everyone again for joining us. Enjoy the rest of the afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.